Good evening, and welcome. Settle in, find your most comfortable position, and allow your thoughts to drift. Tonight, we embark on a journey not across the waves, but into the quiet, forgotten moments of those who sailed them long ago. Our purpose here is simple: to invite calm, to encourage relaxation, and to guide you gently towards a restorative sleep. Feel free to close your eyes whenever you wish, and let my voice, and the imagery we conjure, carry you away. Imagine, if you will, the vast, open expanse of the ocean, stretching endlessly under a sky painted with the soft hues of a summer twilight. We are voyaging back in time, to the age of sail, aboard a magnificent wooden ship. The sun, having performed its daily dance across the canvas of the sky, is now dipping below the horizon, casting a final, lingering warmth upon the decks. Far from the bustling ports and the clamor of land, a profound quiet begins to settle over the vessel, broken only by the timeless whispers of the sea. Feel the gentle rise and fall beneath you, a rhythmic motion that is both ancient and comforting. The ship, your temporary home, moves with a graceful, unhurried sway, cradled by the vast, dark blue waters. It is a summer voyage, and the air, though carrying the invigorating tang of salt, is mild and soft against your skin. There is no biting chill, no frantic rush, only the lingering warmth of the day slowly giving way to the pleasant coolness of the evening. Listen for a moment to the symphony of this wooden world. The most prominent sound is the ceaseless, soft murmur of water against the hull, a gentle lapping, like a lullaby hummed by the ocean itself. Below that, a deeper, more resonant creak of timbers, seasoned by countless voyages, as the ship flexes and breathes with the waves. It's a sound of strength, of endurance, yet softened by the calm of the summer night. Perhaps you can discern the faint, almost melodic groan of ropes and blocks as the wind, a barely perceptible breeze, sighs through the intricate web of the rigging high above. Even the distant, rhythmic footsteps of the watchman on deck, a steady, reassuring presence, seem muffled and softened by the vastness of the sea. The scents that greet you are equally subtle and grounding. The clean, crisp aroma of salt-laden air mingles with the deeper, earthy scent of damp wood, an aroma unique to ships that have long embraced the ocean. There might be a faint, sweet hint of tar from the rigging, or the lingering memory of wood smoke from the galley, long since extinguished, a gentle reminder of the day's provisions. It's a comforting blend, a scent of purpose and passage, yet entirely peaceful now. Above, the sky is transforming. The last vestiges of orange and rose are fading into deep indigo, and one by one, the first stars begin to prick through the velvet curtain of night. They appear fragile, yet brilliant, scattered like diamonds across the infinite canvas. The moon, perhaps a crescent, perhaps a full, luminous orb, begins its slow ascent, casting a shimmering path across the water, a path that seems to invite your gaze to follow it into tranquil depths. The great ocean, usually so vast and powerful, now holds the ship, and you within it, in a gentle, rhythmic embrace, like a parent rocking a child. This is the promise of a sailor's night at sea during the summer, a time when the sun's demanding heat has receded, leaving behind a pleasant mildness, when the boisterous energy of the day gives way to a profound sense of quietude. The ship, having carried its crew through another day of labor and watchful vigilance, now becomes a floating sanctuary, a haven of peace adrift on the boundless waters. As the stars emerge and the moon casts its soft glow, the world on deck begins to dim, lights few and far between, encouraging introspection and a natural turning inward. Let this serene image settle over you, this feeling of being gently rocked, of being held securely within the ancient rhythms of the sea. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go, only to be here, now, in this moment of quiet repose. The ocean is your cradle, swaying you softly, inviting you to release the day and drift. As the day's tasks recede with the setting sun, a profound weariness settles into the bones of every sailor, a gentle ache that whispers of rest. On land, the promise of a sturdy bed, a fixed point in a world that stays still, offers a familiar comfort. But here, on the boundless blue, a different kind of haven awaits, one that dances with the ocean's rhythm, the humble hammock. Imagine, for a moment, stepping down into the dim, cavernous space below deck, where the air, though often stale, holds a fascinating tapestry of scents, tar and hemp, seasoned timber, the faint, clean tang of salt, and the warm, earthy presence of many lives closely lived. Here, among the shadowy forms of your shipmates, you prepare for the unique embrace of a sailor's bed. For centuries, before the adoption of the hammock, sailors often slept where they could, on the hard deck or on meager, straw-filled mattresses that would slide and shift with every roll of the ship. It was a restless, often damp existence. But then came the ingenious solution, borrowed from the indigenous peoples of the Americas, the suspended net, later evolving into the canvas sling we know as the hammock. This simple, brilliant invention revolutionized sleep at sea. It lifted the sailor off the often wet and cold deck, freeing up precious floor space in the crowded crew's quarters during the day, and, most importantly, it allowed them to sleep undisturbed by the ship's constant motion. A hammock, by its very nature, swings freely, adapting to the ship's pitch and roll, cradling its occupant in a pocket of relative stillness. Picture yourself now, finding your designated spot among the rows of other hammocks, many already occupied, their soft, canvas forms gently swaying. The air is thick with the hushed sounds of men settling in, a quiet sigh, the rustle of coarse canvas, the rhythmic creak of timbers as the ship continues its steady journey. You reach for your own hammock, rolled neatly and secured during the day, and with practiced ease, you unfurl it. It's a simple rectangle of sturdy, unbleached canvas, often worn smooth by countless nights, its edges reinforced with strong rope that ends in loops, ready to be hitched to the sturdy hooks or cleats permanently fixed to the deck beams above. The ropes themselves, rough and familiar beneath your fingers, hold the scent of tar and salt, a constant reminder of the ocean's vastness surrounding you. As you prepare to climb in, the world outside your small, personal space continues its gentle symphony. Listen for a moment to the distant, rhythmic slap of waves against the hull, a sound that has lulled generations of sailors to sleep. Above, the wind whispers through the rigging, a soft, ethereal sigh that never truly ceases. And all around you, the ship itself breathes, a symphony of groans and creaks, the shifting of wooden planks, the subtle, deep hum of the ocean vibrating through the very bones of the vessel. These are the sounds of your wooden world, a lullaby woven from the elements. Now, with a slight, careful push, you ease your body into the hammock. There's a moment of playful instability, a brief wobble as it takes your weight, then a settling, conforming embrace. The canvas, though tough and durable, yields softly, molding itself to the contours of your body. You feel the subtle tautness of the ropes supporting you, the gentle pull upwards, holding you suspended, a few feet above the deck. It's like being held in a vast, sturdy hand, completely detached from the hard surfaces of the ship, yet utterly secure within it. The rough texture of the canvas against your clothes, perhaps a simple woolen shirt or a thin blanket, adds to the sensory richness of the experience, a tactile reminder of your simple, functional bed. Within this cocoon, the world outside feels distant, muffled. The ambient warmth of the crowded quarters, combined with your own body heat, creates a snug pocket of comfort. You might pull a thin, worn blanket over you, or simply nestle deeper into the canvas, finding that perfect curl that speaks of profound relaxation. The gentle, continuous sway of the hammock, mirroring the ship's imperceptible roll, becomes a hypnotic motion, a soft, pendulum swing that rocks you deeper into tranquility. It is a motion so constant, so utterly familiar, that its absence on solid ground would later feel jarring. Here, in this suspended haven, the ocean itself provides the most natural of lullabies, a rhythmic undulation that soothes the tired mind and body. You are not merely lying down, you are being cradled, held in the ocean's gentle, unwavering embrace, drifting ever closer to the sweet oblivion of sleep. The ocean, boundless and ever-moving, demands constant vigilance, even under the serene expanse of a summer sky. On these long voyages, the ship itself never truly slept, and so, neither could its crew in one unbroken stretch. Instead, the sailor's night was orchestrated by the rigorous, yet ultimately life-sustaining, rhythm of the watch. Sleep was not a luxury to be indulged in for 8 continuous hours, but a precious resource, carefully managed and often stolen in fragmented shifts, a dance between duty and desperately needed rest. Imagine, for a moment, the deep, resonant clang of the ship's bell cutting through the quiet hum of the night. It's a sound both familiar and unavoidable, a clear signal that marks the end of one watch and the beginning of another. For those just coming off duty, it's a sweet, longed-for chime, promising a brief respite from the cool night air and the endless sway of the deck. For those stirring from their hammocks, preparing to relieve their shipmates, it's a call to awaken from the deep, dark comfort of slumber and ascend to the world above. You might hear the soft shuffle of bare feet on the wooden deck, the low murmur of voices, and the creak of a hammock as a weary sailor slowly lowers himself into its embrace, or another reluctantly rises from its confines. Within this ceaseless cycle, a sailor learned to fall asleep almost instantly, to snatch moments of profound rest whenever they presented themselves. The body, accustomed to relentless toil and the ship's constant motion, adapted with remarkable speed. Whether it was a 4-hour watch below deck, or as short as a dog watch designed to rotate the schedule and prevent any single group from always having the same night duty, every moment of rest was cherished. It was a skill honed by sheer necessity, this ability to plunge into a deep, dreamless slumber even amidst the low thrum of the vessel, the distant shouts, or the gentle clatter of work continuing elsewhere. Below deck, in the dim, lantern-lit world of the crew's quarters, the darkness was thick and comforting. Here, the symphony of the ship was amplified and softened simultaneously. Listen closely, and you might distinguish the deep groaning of the timbers as the ship rode the waves, the steady creak of the bulkheads, and the rhythmic lap of water against the hull, a constant, soothing lullaby. The air, heavy with the mingled scents of damp wood, tarred rope, and the earthy smell of unwashed wool and human presence, enveloped the sleeping men. Each breath drawn in the close confines was imbued with the very essence of the wooden world. Curled within the rough canvas of their hammocks, beneath simple woolen blankets, the sailors found warmth and a deep sense of security, cradled by the very structure that carried them across the vast, indifferent ocean. The profound relief of being off watch, of being able to surrender to the deep pull of exhaustion, was almost tangible. For a few precious hours, the weight of responsibility for the ship's safety could be momentarily set aside. Even in sleep, the body continued its unconscious dance with the ocean, swaying gently with each roll of the ship, a motion so ingrained that it became a part of their very being. The mind, though at rest, might still register the subtle shifts in the ship's pitch and roll, weaving them seamlessly into the fabric of their dreams, perhaps of home, of distant taverns, or of the loved ones awaiting their return. Sometimes, during particularly calm nights, a sailor might even find a patch of deck to stretch out on, perhaps near the warmth of the galley, or sheltered by a coiled rope. The cool, clean air on deck, infused with the sharp tang of salt and the freshness of the open sea, offered a different kind of respite. Under the vast, star-dusted canopy, with the moon casting its silvery path across the water, the deep, rhythmic breathing of the sleeping men would blend with the hushed whispers of the wind through the rigging. There, with the cool night air on their skin and the endless horizon stretching out before them, sleep arrived swiftly, a welcome embrace after the long, arduous day. But the rhythm of the watch was relentless. All too soon, the bell would chime again, its clear notes echoing through the ship, calling men back to duty. From the depths of sleep, the body would stir, reluctant but obedient. The transition from the warmth and darkness of the hammock to the often cool, damp air of the deck was abrupt, yet practiced. A quick stretch, a rub of weary eyes, and the sailor would rise, shedding the last vestiges of sleep, ready to face the long hours ahead. This constant cycle of work and fragmented rest was the very pulse of life at sea, a testament to the endurance and adaptability of those who lived their lives on the waves. And so, the ship sails on, through the endless night, guided by the silent stars and the unwavering dedication of its crew. The watches change, the bells chime, and sleep, though often brief and broken, offers its profound, restorative embrace to weary bodies. Feel the gentle sway, listen to the soft breathing, and allow yourself to drift into the comforting rhythm of this timeless seafaring slumber, knowing that rest, however it comes, is a precious gift, always waiting. As you settle into the gentle sway of your hammock, nestled within the sturdy embrace of the ship, close your eyes. Let the last vestiges of the dim, dancing lantern light fade from your inner vision, and allow your other senses to awaken to the symphony of the night at sea. This wooden world, your temporary home, hums with its own unique lullaby, a complex tapestry of sounds woven from timber, canvas, and the ceaseless ocean. Listen now, for a moment, to the whispers of the deep, the quiet murmurs of a sailing ship at rest, yet ever alive. The most intimate sounds begin with the ship itself, a living, breathing entity beneath and around you. Feel the subtle tremor of the hull, a deep, resonant thrum that travels through the very air. This is the ship speaking, its vast wooden skeleton flexing and settling. You might hear the soft, rhythmic creak of timbers, a gentle groan from a stressed beam, or the sigh of a plank as the vessel yields to the ocean's embrace. These are not sounds of distress, but rather the comforting, familiar language of a ship finding its equilibrium, each creak a testament to its strength and resilience. Imagine these sounds as the soft, sleepy sighs of a giant creature softly breathing around you in the dark. Beyond the immediate structure, the most pervasive sound is that of the water itself. It is a constant, soothing presence, the very reason for your journey. Listen to the gentle lapping against the hull, just inches from your head, a soft, insistent whisper. Sometimes, a larger wave might brush by, creating a deeper, richer swish, like silk rustling against wood, before receding into a gentle gurgle. The water is a ceaseless composer, its melody shifting with the ship's passage, a soft, undulating rhythm that becomes inextricably linked with your own heartbeat. It's a sound that promises continuity, a steady, unwavering presence in the vastness of the open sea. Above you, and slightly more distant, you might discern the subtle music of the rigging. Though sails are furled for the night, or trimmed to the lightest breeze for a quiet passage, the ropes and lines still hold their tension. There's the faintest, almost imperceptible hum of a taut stay, vibrating in the night air. Perhaps the soft, insistent rasp of a rope against a block, a gentle friction that speaks of order and purpose. These are the ship's tendons and muscles, subtly engaged even in slumber. Their gentle sounds a reminder of the powerful forces that guide your vessel across the waves, all held in check by the skilled hands of your shipmates. Muffled and distant, from the deck above, you might catch the soft tread of the watchman's feet, a gentle, rhythmic pacing that assures you of vigilance without disturbing your peace. Perhaps a faint, low murmur of voices, barely distinguishable, carried away by the night air, lending a sense of shared experience without intruding upon your solitude. The air itself carries the distinct aroma of the sea, salt, damp wood, and the faint, sweet scent of tar from the rigging, a truly maritime perfume that deepens your connection to this unique world. This isn't the sharp bite of a winter gale, but the warm, enveloping breath of a summer night, carrying these distant, reassuring whispers. As the hours drift by, these individual sounds begin to blend into a single, cohesive auditory landscape. The creaking timbers, the lapping water, the humming rigging, and the distant human presence all merge into a singular, hypnotic rhythm. Your body, cradled in the hammock, responds instinctively to the ship's gentle roll, a side-to-side sway that mimics the rocking of a cradle. This movement, combined with the continuous, soft symphony of the wooden world, becomes the most profound lullaby imaginable. There's a profound comfort in this immersion, a sense of being held securely within a robust, living shell, insulated from the boundless expanse of the ocean outside. Within this cocoon of sound and motion, anxieties of the day, the toils of the watch, and the long journey ahead all begin to recede. The constant, unchanging rhythm of the ship and the sea has a deeply soothing effect, gently guiding your mind away from conscious thought. You are a small, safe part of a much larger, powerful entity, carried effortlessly across the dark waters. The whispers of the deep are not secrets to fear, but rather ancient, comforting truths, murmuring of enduring strength and endless journey. So, as the gentle symphony of the wooden ship at sea wraps around you, let yourself drift deeper into its embrace. Feel the gentle sway, hear the soft murmurs, and allow the steady rhythm of this maritime night to carry you into a profound and peaceful slumber. You are safe, you are warm, and you are entirely at peace, held by the ancient, comforting song of the ocean and the sturdy ship that carries you. Imagine for a moment, if you will, the profound sensation of being utterly adrift, yet perfectly held. Not in a boundless, empty void, but within the sturdy embrace of a wooden vessel, a tiny world buoyant upon the vast, deep ocean. As the day's last light surrenders to the indigo twilight and the stars begin their silent, ancient watch, another kind of rhythm takes hold, a deep, pervasive pulse that becomes the very heartbeat of sleep for the sailor. This is the ocean's gentle roll, a constant, soothing ballet of motion that permeates every fiber of the ship, and in turn, every fiber of the sleeping man. You are nestled now in your hammock, a cocoon of canvas suspended between stout beams. The day's exertions have eased from your limbs, and a profound weariness, the good kind that comes from honest labor under the open sky, has settled deep within you. Close your eyes and tune your senses to the ship itself. It is not still, not ever truly still, even on the calmest of summer nights. Instead, it breathes with the ocean, a slow, deliberate inhale and exhale that lifts and lowers you with an exquisite tenderness. Feel how the sturdy hull dips slightly to one side, then recovers, a languid, unhurried sway that rocks you from your head to your toes. Then, just as gently, it inclines to the other, a pendulum of peace, back and forth, back and forth. This is not the violent lurch of a storm-tossed vessel, far from it. This is the serene, almost imperceptible undulation of a ship gliding over the long, smooth swells of a summer sea, a movement so natural it feels like an extension of the Earth's own slow turning. Listen for a moment to the symphony of this gentle motion. The ancient timbers of the ship, seasoned by countless voyages, respond with a chorus of soft, persistent creaks and groans. These are not sounds of distress, but the comforting, familiar voices of a living, breathing structure. The wooden planks beneath you, the mast towering above, the very ribs of the ship, all murmur their contentment, settling into the rhythm of the waves. It's a language understood by every sailor, a testament to the ship's strength and resilience, a soft assurance that all is well. Beneath this woody chorus, you might discern the liquid whisper of water against the hull, a ceaseless, gentle lapping sound, like 1,000 tiny hands stroking the ship's belly. It's the ocean itself singing a lullaby, a boundless, elemental song that promises continuity and calm. Your body, accustomed over weeks and months to this perpetual motion, has learned to surrender to it entirely. There is no struggle against the movement, no attempt to find a static point of rest. Instead, you yield, allowing the hammock to absorb and transmit every subtle shift. It's a release, a letting go, as if the ocean itself is taking on the burden of holding you. Imagine the sensation of being weightless for a fleeting moment as the ship crests a particularly long swell, followed by the soft, reassuring dip as it descends into the trough. This rhythm becomes ingrained, a part of your deepest self, guiding your breath, slowing your heartbeat, drawing you deeper into slumber. The coarse canvas of the hammock, which might feel rough in daylight, now feels like a secure embrace, a soft cradle that moves with you, never against you. The air, though warm below deck on a summer night, carries the faint, clean tang of salt and tar, a scent that speaks of distant horizons and open skies, yet also of the immediate, cozy safety of your sleeping space. As the ship continues its slow, hypnotic dance across the waves, the very act of lying still becomes a dynamic experience. You are perpetually in motion, yet deeply at rest. The world outside, the vastness of the sea and the glittering expanse of stars, feels both immense and profoundly distant, softened and muted by the sturdy wooden walls around you. The ship's gentle roll becomes a bridge between the conscious world and the realm of dreams, a seamless transition where the physical sensation of movement guides your mind to stillness. It's a unique form of peace, born of surrender to the elements, an acceptance of the ocean's enduring power, tempered by the ship's steadfast protection. Allow yourself to drift with this rhythm, to become one with the ship and the sea. Feel the subtle rise and fall, the soft, side-to-side sway, a comfort as ancient as the tides themselves. The murmurs of the ship and the whispers of the water blend into a single, continuous hum, a profound, resonant sound that vibrates through your very bones. You are safe, you are held, gently rocked by the oldest lullaby there is. Let the ocean's tender embrace guide you now, deeper and deeper into a serene and peaceful sleep, cradled by the timeless motion of the waves. Imagine, if you will, a long summer voyage in the age of sail, the sun a generous golden orb high above the endless blue expanse. The deck planks, exposed to the day's relentless embrace, grow warm beneath bare feet, radiating a gentle heat that rises with the shimmering air. Above, the canvas sails, taut and full, gleam in the brilliant light, their vast surfaces catching every whisper of the wind, yet offering little shade to the sun-drenched deck below. The air itself feels soft, almost thick, carrying the clean, briny scent of the ocean mingled with the faint, comforting aroma of tar and damp wood. This is the world above, a world of vast sky and open air, where the wind, when it chose to blow, offered a fleeting promise of coolness. But descend, if you will, into the heart of the ship, below the main deck, into the cavernous holds and the cramped, bustling quarters where the sailors sought their rest. Here, a different warmth awaited. The sun's direct rays might be blocked by layers of sturdy timber, but its heat, absorbed by the ship's very structure throughout the day, slowly permeated every plank and beam. The air, heavy and still, settled in the enclosed spaces, carrying the mingled sense of human presence, stored provisions, salt pork, hardtack, the earthy smell of damp sacking, and the pervasive, comforting aroma of aged timber. There were no open windows, no cross breezes to stir the stagnant air, only the occasional, precious draught that might snake its way down an open hatchway, a rare and welcome visitor. Listen for a moment to the subtle hum of the ship around you. The rhythmic creak of the hull as it flexes with the ocean's gentle roll, the soft lapping of waves against the timbers just beyond the wooden walls. Even these sounds seem to carry a warmth, echoing in the enclosed space. The air itself seemed to hum with a gentle, drowsy heat, especially after a full day of the sun's unyielding attention. Sailors, accustomed to the rigors of their life, bore this warmth with a quiet resilience. They understood that the ship, their floating home, was a world unto itself, governed by the elements, and that summer's heat was simply another condition to be endured, much like the winter's chill or the spray of a sudden storm. Seeking coolness, therefore, became a subtle art, a series of small, quiet gestures. On particularly stifling nights, if conditions allowed and the watch schedule permitted, some might seek the relative openness of the upper deck, perhaps finding a quiet corner beneath the spars, away from the immediate heat radiating from the ship's interior. Here, the air was clearer, cooler, stirred by the ceaseless, whispering breath of the ocean. Imagine lying on a coil of rope, the rough texture a grounding presence, feeling the vast, cool dome of the night sky above, the stars a million pinpricks of light in the velvet dark. The subtle shift in temperature, the gentle caress of the sea breeze on the skin, brought a profound sense of relief, a quiet comfort after the close warmth below. For those who remained in the crew's quarters, the search for coolness was more modest. Simple splashes of cool seawater, drawn from the ocean's depths, might be used to dampen a cloth, laid across a brow or neck, offering a temporary, soothing respite. The coarse fabric of their hammocks, though warm to the touch, allowed for some airflow, a small mercy in the still air. They would find the coolest spots they could, perhaps near a hatch that was kept open for a fleeting moment, or positioned where the faint motion of the ship created the slightest stir of air. The key was a quiet acceptance, a gentle letting go of the desire for profound coolness, and instead finding solace in the smallest, most accessible comforts. The air below deck, though warm, was also imbued with the ship's unique scent, a blend of wood, tar, salt, and the faint, earthy smell of the stores. This familiar aroma, combined with the gentle, persistent sway of the ship, became a part of the sensory tapestry of summer nights at sea. It was a warmth that was not oppressive, but rather a constant, gentle presence, a reminder of the sun-drenched days and the vast, warm ocean that cradled their vessel. The men learned to sleep through it, to adapt their bodies and minds to the ship's inherent temperature, finding a profound peace in the rhythmic motion and the enclosed security of their wooden world. Let the lingering warmth of the day gently settle around you now, not as discomfort, but as a soft, comforting blanket. Feel the memory of the ocean's cool breath, a whisper on your skin, and the quiet contentment of finding repose even in the most modest of circumstances. Allow the gentle sway of the ship to continue its rhythmic motion, a soft, rocking lullaby that carries you deeper into a tranquil rest. The air, though warm, is peaceful, filled with the quiet, ancient sounds of the sea and the steady, reassuring presence of the wooden vessel, a haven on the endless waves. Imagine for a moment descending into the very heart of a wooden world, not into the captain's grand cabin, but deep into the crew's quarters on a summer night, a place of shared existence where life and rest intertwine. Here, beneath the waterline, the world above fades into a muffled dream, leaving only the immediate, intimate reality of the ship's embrace and the quiet presence of your shipmates. This is where a sailor truly found his sleep, not in solitude, but within the collective rhythm of his comrades. As you settle into this imagined space, listen closely. The air is thick with the subtle symphony of human rest. The gentle exhalation of breath, deep and steady, rises and falls around you, a soft chorus that blends seamlessly with the creak of the timbers. You might hear the rustle of coarse canvas as a shipmate shifts in his hammock nearby, a low murmur of a dream half-remembered, a soft sigh carried on the close air. There's a comforting uniformity to these sounds, a gentle pulse of humanity that reassures the heart, a testament to shared experience and survival. Each subtle sound is a thread in the rich tapestry of the ship's inner life, woven with the constant, distant whisper of the ocean against the hull. Beyond the sounds, let your senses drift to the unique aromas that define this shared space. The air is a rich tapestry of scents, the enduring scent of pine tar and oakum that permeates every plank, the clean, sharp tang of salt air that still finds its way through every crack and seam, mingling with the earthy dampness of wood below the waterline. And then, the distinct, warm scent of many bodies, not unpleasant, but simply human, a faint musk of exertion and rest, of wool and canvas. It is the signature aroma of a seaborne life, a blend that becomes as familiar and comforting as the ship's own heartbeat, a deep, resonant smell that speaks of safety and shelter within the vastness of the ocean. Even in summer, the combined warmth of many bodies in a confined space can create a subtle, encompassing heat. Below decks, the air might feel still, holding on to the warmth of the day and the life within. Yet, it is a human warmth, a shared warmth that permeates the air, a testament to the close-knit community. Light, too, is a shared commodity. Perhaps a single lantern, swinging ever so gently from a beam, casts long, dancing shadows across the low ceiling and the rows of hammocks, its flame a tiny, flickering beacon in the encompassing darkness. Or perhaps, by the deepest watch, even that is extinguished, leaving only the profound, velvety darkness, broken only by the faintest glimmer from a distant hatch, if any at all. Feel the texture of your hammock, the sturdy, rough canvas cradling you, responding to every subtle shift of your body and every sway of the ship. Your hammock, and those of your shipmates, hang close together, sometimes almost touching, creating a dense forest of sleeping forms. There is no true privacy here, not in the way landsmen understand it. Instead, there is an unspoken acceptance, a shared vulnerability that fosters an even deeper sense of camaraderie. You might feel the gentle bump of a nearby hammock as the ship rolls, a soft, friendly contact that reminds you are not alone, but part of a larger, living organism. This shared proximity, far from being intrusive, often becomes a source of quiet comfort, a silent acknowledgement of mutual reliance. This shared slumber creates a unique kind of peace. To lie in your hammock, swaying gently with the ship, surrounded by the quiet breathing of your shipmates, is to feel a profound sense of belonging. The day's toil, the endless tasks, the constant vigilance against the sea's dangers, all recede into the background. What remains is a quiet trust, a collective surrender to the restorative power of sleep. Each man's rest contributes to the overall stability and safety of the ship, a silent pact of shared duty even in unconsciousness. The sounds of the ship, the creaks and groans of the wooden hull, the distant rush of water, all become part of the shared lullaby, a comforting, continuous melody that sings of strength and endurance. Consider the simplicity of settling down in this communal space. There are no elaborate rituals, no lengthy goodbyes. Perhaps a quiet word exchanged with a watchmate, a shared glance in the dim light, and then the familiar movement of climbing into the hammock, finding that perfect balance as the ship gently pitches and rolls. It is a moment of humble solitude amidst many, a personal retreat into the collective embrace of the crew. The ocean's boundless expanse outside is mirrored by the quiet expanse of sleep within, each individual mind drifting into its own world, yet all bound by the shared reality of the ship, the voyage, and the profound, silent understanding between those who face the sea together. As you imagine yourself nestled in that shared darkness, surrounded by the gentle rhythm of other sleeping souls, feel the deep peace that settles upon this unique community. The ship continues its steady journey, cradling its precious cargo of dreams and human warmth. Allow the gentle rocking, the soft, distant sounds, and the quiet presence of your imagined shipmates to envelop you. Rest softly, carried by the timeless cadence of the sea, in the quiet, comforting heart of this wooden world, a world where every breath of sleep is a shared breath, every moment of rest a collective peace. The sun, a fiery sentinel, would at last begin its slow descent, painting the western sky in hues of orange and deepest rose. For the sailor, this sight marked not just the end of another day, but the welcome promise of a brief respite, a turning of the tide from the relentless demands of the ship to the quiet sanctuary of the self. Imagine, for a moment, the weary heave of the last rope, the final secure knot tied, the tools carefully stowed away. A collective sigh, unspoken but palpable, would ripple through the crew as the watch changed, or the day's heavy labor dissolved into the gentle ebb of evening. The deck, once alive with the shouts of command and the thud of bare feet, would gradually quiet, the sound softening to the rhythmic creak of timbers and the distant wash of water against the hull. Below deck, the air, perpetually thick with the scent of tar, damp wood, and the faint, salty breath of the ocean, would seem to hold a different quality in these twilight hours. It was a time for simple rituals, born of necessity and the deep human need to mark the transition from toil to tranquility. Most immediate, perhaps, was the desire to shed the day's grime. Fresh water was a precious commodity, often rationed stringently, so a lavish wash was a luxury rarely afforded. Instead, a sailor might dip a calloused hand into a shared bucket of brackish seawater, splashing it over his face and neck, feeling the cool, stinging brine revive his tired skin. Listen for a moment to the soft slosh of the water, the quiet murmurs of men finding comfort in these small acts of cleansing. The rough texture of a damp cloth, scrubbed vigorously across sun-chapped skin, offered a fleeting moment of invigoration, a subtle peeling away of the day's sweat and effort. Then came the ritual of changing clothes, a comfort that might seem minor to us now, but for a sailor, it was a profound act of self-care. The heavy, salt-stiffened garments worn throughout the day, the canvas trousers, the coarse wool jacket, would be carefully removed and, if dry weather permitted, perhaps hung to air in a sheltered spot, though more often simply folded and stowed. To slip into a slightly cleaner, drier shirt, perhaps one kept solely for sleeping, was to wrap oneself in a small parcel of warmth and protection. Feel the difference against your skin, the subtle shift from the abrasive texture of working clothes to the softer, more yielding fabric reserved for rest. It was a tangible barrier against the damp chill that could permeate the ship even on a summer night, a quiet signal to the body that the time for vigilance was temporarily suspended. In the dim glow of a shared lantern, casting long, dancing shadows across the low-beamed ceiling, men might indulge in their small personal pleasures. A well-worn pipe might be brought out, its bowl carefully filled with precious tobacco, the first puff releasing a thin, fragrant plume into the close air. The quiet scratch of a tinderbox, the brief flare of a flame, the contented sigh that followed, these were the sounds and sights of men unwinding. Some might retrieve a small, cherished item from a canvas ditty bag, a smooth stone from a distant shore, a crudely carved wooden bird, a faded letter from home. These were not just objects, they were anchors to another life, silent companions in the vastness of the ocean. Imagine the weight of such an object in a calloused hand, the faint smile that might touch a weather-beaten face as memories flickered to life in the soft lamplight. Conversations would begin to wind down, their volume dropping from the robust camaraderie of the day to a hushed murmur, easily swallowed by the deep, resonant hum of the ship. Stories might be exchanged in low tones, tales of adventures ashore or memories of loved ones, but these were stories told for comfort, not for boisterous amusement. The shared space of the crew's quarters, often crowded and lacking privacy, nonetheless fostered a unique sense of collective winding down. Each man, in his own small way, contributed to the growing quiet, a silent agreement to let the day's strains drift away. The gentle sway of the ship, which during the day was an active presence, now transformed into a soothing, rhythmic motion, a giant cradle rocking its charges to sleep. As the last embers of the pipe faded and the final quiet words were spoken, a profound weariness would begin to settle. It was a physical weariness born of hard labor and constant vigilance, but also a mental exhaustion from navigating the endless horizon and the unpredictable whims of the sea. There was no bustling preparation, no elaborate evening routine, just the slow, deliberate transition from standing watch to seeking solace. The scent of salt and sea air, mingled with the faint aroma of stale tobacco and the warmth of many bodies, created a unique sensory tapestry that was the very essence of a sailor's evening. Feel the weight of that day's work lifting from your shoulders, replaced by a deep sense of peaceful surrender. The world outside, with its boundless ocean and its endless tasks, receded, allowing the mind to turn inward, preparing for the restorative balm of sleep. Now, as the ship sighs around you, and the last of the lantern light dims to a mere glow, let your own breath deepen and slow. Feel the gentle, persistent rock of the vessel beneath you, a timeless rhythm that has lulled countless sailors into slumber. Close your eyes and allow the simple tranquility of this moment to envelop you completely. The day's demands are gone, replaced by the profound quiet of the deep, boundless night. Let yourself drift, carried by the ocean's slow, steady breath, into a peaceful and restorative rest. As the sailor's body finds its deepest repose, cradled by the rhythmic pulse of the ocean, his mind, though nestled in sleep, begins its own quiet journey. The day's toil, the salt-laced air, the persistent creak and groan of the ship's timbers, all slowly recede, replaced by a softer, more ethereal landscape. This is the realm of dreams, where the boundaries of the wooden world melt away, and the spirit is free to wander, unburdened by watch or wave. Imagine, if you will, the profound solitude of a mind adrift, even amidst the slumbering forms of shipmates. Each sailor, though sharing the close confines of the deck below, embarks on a deeply personal voyage within the theatre of their own dreams. For many, these nocturnal visions are a tender return to the distant shores they left behind. They might find themselves stepping onto the familiar cobbles of a village street, the sun warm upon their face, a gentle breeze carrying the scent of blooming hedgerows, a stark contrast to the vast, salty expanse of the sea. Listen for a moment to the sounds that might fill such a dreamscape, the distant, welcoming peal of a church bell, not the ship's bell marking the watch, but one that speaks of home and Sunday mornings. Perhaps the soft laughter of children playing by a stream, or the murmur of voices from a bustling marketplace, a sound so different from the constant hum and sigh of the ocean. They might hear the gentle lowing of cattle in a meadow, or the rustle of leaves in an ancient oak tree, sounds that ground them to the earth they yearn for. The senses within these dreams are often incredibly vivid, imbued with the longing of absence. A sailor might feel the smooth, cool texture of a linen sheet, so unlike the coarse wool of their shipboard blanket, or the comforting warmth of a hearth fire on their cheek. They might taste fresh, sweet water drawn from a well, or the simple, wholesome flavors of a meal cooked over an open flame, a taste of home that memory has burnished to perfection. The smell of hearth smoke, of freshly baked bread, or the unique, earthy fragrance of their own cottage, might waft through their sleeping mind, a potent balm to a weary soul. Sometimes, the faces of loved ones appear with startling clarity, the gentle smile of a wife, the bright eyes of a child, the weathered face of an elder, offering silent comfort and reassurance. In these fleeting moments, the miles melt away, and the sailor is truly home, embraced by affection and familiarity. The burdens of the voyage, the longing, the endless horizon, all dissolve into the warmth of these imagined reunions. Yet, not all dreams are of home. Some sailors might find themselves exploring the very distant shores they journey towards, but transformed by the gentle filter of sleep into paradisiacal visions. Palm trees sway in a perpetual, warm breeze, their fronds rustling like soft whispers. Exotic birds, their plumage vibrant, call from lush canopies. The waters here are always calm, turquoise and inviting, and the sands are soft beneath their dream feet. These are not lands of danger or unfamiliarity, but idealized havens, born from tales heard and hopes held, where the sun always shines and the promise of new discoveries is pure and untainted. Even the ship itself might subtly reappear, but in a comforting guise. The gentle, continuous roll of the vessel could translate into the rocking of a cradle, a soothing motion that has become intrinsic to their very being. The distant creak of timbers might become the settling sounds of an old, familiar house. The boundary between their waking reality and their dreaming world blurs, allowing the comfort of the ship's motion to blend seamlessly with the peace of their inner landscape. As the deepest hours of the night unfold, these dreams serve as a vital wellspring of emotional sustenance. They are a sanctuary where the sailor can momentarily shed the weight of responsibility, the constant vigilance, and the physical demands of life at sea. Each gentle sway of the ship, each soft breath taken in slumber, carries them deeper into this quiet, restorative world. The mind, though active, is deeply at rest, processing the day, revisiting memories, and recharging for the duties that await with the dawn. This profound sleep, filled with echoes of home and whispers of distant promise, is a precious gift, allowing the sailor's spirit to unfurl and find its own quiet peace amidst the vast, enduring embrace of the ocean. The sun has long dipped below the rim of the world, pulling with it the last vestiges of a day spent in honest toil, under the vast, indifferent gaze of the ocean. Now, in the deep embrace of night, as the ship glides onward, a profound stillness settles, not just upon the deck, but deep within the wooden heart of the vessel itself. This is the hour when the mind, freed from the immediate demands of the watch or the chores of the day, begins its own quiet drift. The endless horizon, once a line of anticipation and challenge, now becomes a soft, indistinct boundary where the dark canvas of the sea meets the star-dusted velvet of the sky, blurring into an infinite expanse of peace. Imagine yourself now, cradled within this vastness, perhaps in a hammock slung low, its gentle swing a familiar comfort. Feel the subtle tension of the canvas as it supports you, yielding just enough to conform to your form, a soft, breathable cocoon in the warm summer air. The memory of its gentle sway, a rhythm learned over countless nights, is a deeply ingrained part of a sailor's slumber, a physical echo of the ocean's own ceaseless breath. Listen for a moment to the symphony of the ship at rest, the soft creak of timbers settling, a low, contented sigh from the mighty frame as it surrenders to the swells. These are not sounds of danger, but the murmurs of a living, breathing wooden world, a world that has carried you safely through sunlit days and moonlit nights. The air, though still holding the warmth of the summer day, feels lighter, fresher, drawn by the ship's slow progress across the waves. Perhaps a gentle draught, carrying the clean, briny scent of the open sea, wafts through the dimly lit quarters, a whisper of coolness against your skin. This is the ocean's own breath, a vast, ancient exhalation, washing over you, carrying away any lingering tightness from the day. There is a simple, profound beauty in this nightly surrender, a release into the care of the ship and the sea, knowing that the journey continues, steady and unhurried, even as you find your deepest rest. Above, the stars, countless and glittering, chart an immutable course across the heavens, a cosmic compass for those who navigate by their ancient light. Even if you cannot see them from your resting place, their silent presence is felt, a reminder of the immense, ordered universe of which this small wooden world is but a part. The distant murmur of the waves, a continuous, hushed conversation with the hull, becomes a low, resonant hum, a primal lullaby that speaks of timelessness and endless motion. It is a sound that smooths the edges of thought, invites release, and gently guides the mind away from the tangible world. This quiet reflection isn't about dwelling on the past or planning for the future. It is a moment of pure presence, a gentle dissolving into the vastness. The day's duties, the hauling of ropes, the mending of sails, the vigilant watch, have all been laid aside. The mind, like the ship itself, has come to a temporary harbor within the endless journey. There are no sudden jolts, no jarring changes, only the consistent, rhythmic pulse of the ocean. The gentle roll of the ship, a soft lift and fall, a subtle tilt from side to side, continues its unbroken dance, a comforting cradle in the dark. It is a movement so ingrained, so utterly familiar, that it ceases to be noticed and instead becomes the very fabric of your repose. In this deep quietude, a sailor might find their thoughts drifting not to specific memories, but to feelings, the enduring sense of camaraderie, the simple satisfaction of a task well done, the quiet or inspired by the sheer power and beauty of the sea. These are not thoughts that demand attention, but soft impressions, like shadows shifting in the moonlight, observed without judgment, allowed to pass like clouds across the night sky. The worries of the world, the distant shores, the passage of time, all recede, becoming faint echoes on the distant horizon of the mind. Imagine now this sense of boundless peace settling over you, much like the soft, pervasive darkness that enfolds the ship. Feel the warmth of the summer night air, the gentle, almost imperceptible sway, the distant, murmuring sounds of the sea. All these elements conspire to create a singular, profound sense of tranquility. You are safe, suspended between the vastness of the ocean and the infinity of the stars, held gently by the rhythmic breath of the world. Let your own awareness expand, dissolving into this quiet, timeless flow, becoming one with the gentle undulations of the ship, the steady, unwavering progress through the night. The age of sail, with all its rigors and demands, also offered these profound moments of stillness, of quiet introspection under the immense, unblinking eye of the cosmos. It was a space where the soul could truly breathe, unburdened by the clamor of the shore, finding its own rhythm in harmony with the ancient pulse of the ocean. This feeling of being utterly at one with the elements, of trusting the enduring strength of the vessel and the unwavering constancy of the natural world, is the ultimate lullaby for a weary mind. Now, as the final vestiges of wakefulness gently dissipate, embrace the warmth, the softness, the deep, pervasive calm. Feel the last of your thoughts drift away, like wisps of sea fog melting into the dawn. Let the gentle, continuous sway of the ship carry you deeper. Feel the soft canvas of the hammock, the comforting presence of the wooden world, the quiet hum of the sea. All is well. All is still. Sleep now. Let go completely. Sleep now. Drift into quiet slumber. Sleep now. Deep, peaceful rest. Sleep now.